In this in-depth conversation with Dr. Bulsiewicz, a leading gastroenterologist and gut health expert, the complex interplay between the gut, mood, inflammation, environmental toxins, and modern lifestyle is thoroughly explored. The discussion delves into the root causes of chronic disease, the influence of the gut microbiome on mental health, the impact of environmental chemicals, and the importance of holistic approaches that go beyond nutrition alone. Dr. Bulsiewicz also underscores the significance of circadian rhythms, immune intelligence, and human connection in the pursuit of meaningful healing. Dr. Bulsiewicz emphasizes that our mood is profoundly influenced by the state of our gut microbiome. Inflammatory patterns in gut health are closely linked with complex mood disorders such as major depression and generalized anxiety disorder. These conditions are now understood to involve neuroinflammation, a physical process within the brain affected by gut health. Even for those without diagnosable mood disorders, gut imbalance can trigger mood fluctuations, including fatigue, paranoia, and anxiety. Alcohol consumption is also referenced, with gut microbes playing a central role in hangover symptoms and emotional swings after drinking. The conversation probes the philosophical question of free will in the context of microbial influence over human behavior, cravings, and emotions. While bacteria impact how we feel and act, Dr. Bulsiewicz argues that humans retain the ability to shape both their internal and external environments. Our choices, in turn, reshape the gut ecosystem. Thus, free will exists but is intertwined in a feedback loop with the billions of microorganisms within us. The host-microbe relationship is dynamic and bidirectional, offering opportunities for intervention through conscious decision-making. The physiological mechanisms of the autonomic nervous system are unpacked to explain how chronic stress damages the gut and overall health. The sympathetic nervous system activates the fight-or-flight response, which, while necessary in acute stress situations, compromises the gut barrier, leading to increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut. This breach allows bacterial components to trigger widespread inflammation via the immune system. Modern life, characterized by persistent sympathetic activation, impedes healing and promotes dysbiosis. Activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, primarily through the vagus nerve, encourages relaxation, gut barrier restoration, immune regulation, and overall health. Dr. Bulsiewicz expands the discussion to cultural evolution, noting that modern individualism and materialism foster isolation and loneliness, which are biologically detrimental. Human connection was historically the foundation of survival and well-being, embedded in tribal existence. Today, however, social fragmentation results in an epidemic of loneliness affecting half the American population before the pandemic. Loneliness is compared in severity to smoking concerning its impact on health and longevity. The loss of parasympathetic activation caused by social disconnection perpetuates chronic inflammation and disease. The conversation highlights the vast neural network of the gut, home to approximately 500 million nerves, 5 times the number found in the spinal cord. These nerves continuously gather sensory input and communicate with the brain via the vagus nerve, largely in a bottom-up fashion. This explains phenomena like gut feelings, which arise from integrated subconscious signals. Dr. Bulsiewicz expands the notion of intelligence beyond intellectual cognition to include the wisdom embedded in nature, gut-brain communication, and embodied knowledge. Ancient traditions recognize this, emphasizing heart and gut wisdom alongside rational thought. An illuminating revelation is that about 95% of the body's serotonin and 50% of dopamine are produced in the gut. Serotonin, widely known as the happiness neurotransmitter, also serves as a precursor to melatonin, the hormone regulating sleep-wake cycles. Melatonin concentrations in the gut surpass those in the brain by 400 times, where it plays a crucial role in immune modulation and gut barrier repair during nocturnal immune activation. Morning light exposure facilitates serotonin production and circadian entrainment, reinforcing gut motility and mental well-being. Artificial light in the evening disrupts melatonin synthesis, impairing sleep and gut health. The immune system is described as a multi-layered defense network, with the gut lining as the body's largest immune organ. This lining is renewed every 3-5 days and fortified by butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid derived from fiber fermentation by gut microbes. When the gut barrier is disrupted, immune cells respond to bacterial components such as lipopolysaccharides, triggering inflammation. Inflammation is the underlying mechanism driving a vast array of chronic conditions, including autoimmune diseases, allergies, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, ADHD, mood disorders, hormonal imbalances, and fatigue. Dr. Bulsiewicz stresses that inflammation, not isolated symptoms, should be the focus for genuine healing. A critical component of modern health challenges is the pervasive exposure to environmental toxins, especially glyphosate, the active ingredient in the herbicide Roundup. Glyphosate disrupts the shikimate pathway in gut microbes, selectively damaging beneficial bacteria while allowing pathogenic microbes to flourish, thus contributing to inflammatory gut conditions. This chemical is omnipresent in food, water, and even human biological samples. Regulatory gaps allow thousands of chemicals, many without human or animal feeding studies, to be generally recognized as safe, GRAS, ignoring microbiome impacts. Ultra-processed foods laden with complex additives disrupt microbial diversity and overall health. The conversation critiques industrialized food products, using the example of infant formula ingredients that are heavily processed and contain additives unpronounceable to most consumers. These formulas, while convenient and widely used, deviate markedly from natural nourishment and may contribute to poor gut health from infancy onward. The normalization and heavy subsidization of ultra-processed foods across the lifespan have undermined human biology and increased chronic disease burden. Dr. Bulsiewicz encourages a return to whole, plant-rich foods, emphasizing fiber, polyphenols, healthy fats, and fermented products. Real food and dietary quality form the cornerstone of restoring gut and immune health. The four workhorses of nutrition that Dr. Bulsiewicz highlights are fiber, polyphenols, healthy fats, and fermented foods. These elements nourish the microbiome and support the renewal of the gut lining and systemic immunity. While acknowledging that there is no single perfect diet for everyone, he advocates for increasing these key components which are missing in modern diets. Organic choices and thorough washing of produce are noted as additional guards against chemical exposure when possible. Factory farming is criticized for producing unhealthy animals fed unnatural diets and prophylactic antibiotics, which contribute to poor nutritional profiles, antibiotic resistance, and further inflammatory burden on consumers. Dr. Bulsiewicz's personal dietary choice is plant-based, but he respects individual differences, underscoring that health optimization can be achieved through various paths. Still, he highlights that factory farming practices tend to prioritize mass production over animal welfare and nutritional quality, ultimately impacting human health negatively. Beyond biological factors, Dr. Bulsiewicz reflects on the importance of spiritual connection, purpose, and human love in healing. He shares personal experiences of fatherhood and grief that have deepened his sense of a transcendent presence beyond measurable science. Healing is presented as highly personal, involving more than medical interventions or nutrition, including emotional and existential dimensions. Finding and aligning with one's purpose, nurturing human bonds, and fostering spiritual growth are portrayed as vital for holistic health. Analogies between humans as microbes of the earth cultivate a perspective of interconnectedness and stewardship. Just as gut microbes influence individual health, human actions influence planetary health. Dr. Bulsiewicz emphasizes that while systemic change is needed urgently, individual empowerment comes from focusing on what is within one's control, body, home environment, lifestyle choices, to create healing environments that radiate outward. This approach fosters resilience and conscious agency amid the complexity of global challenges. In closing, Dr. Bulsiewicz recommends building a morning routine centered on circadian rhythm support through exposure to natural morning sunlight, light physical activity, and quiet reflection or meditation to activate parasympathetic relaxation. This practice enhances mood, energy, focus, and sleep quality. He underscores that even small, consistent lifestyle changes compound over time to generate profound health improvements. Prioritizing morning light and structured routines is a highly accessible intervention that grounds the integrative approach to whole-body wellness promoted throughout their discussion.